What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome. Good morning. I'm still kind of getting myself settled. I'm just gonna go wash my face. Um, it's supposed to be starting in soon, a couple minutes. Let me get the Twitter pages up. Uh, you guys got notifications? I just found out about this like a couple of minutes ago because I slept in today, and spring break and stuff. And but once I found out, Diggs had told me, I was like, damn, we need to jump on this because this is the trial we're going to be covering. April 3rd, I think it starts. So let me just pull up these tweets here. And the last thing, too, they said they were going to allow the media to. Let's see. Yeah. Hmm. Let's see something. All right, so let me save this image. This was one of the last things I saw. This just online a little bit ago. Let me fix my mic here. Order authorizing expanded media coverage. This was 3/1/2023. That was the last thing I saw. What's up? What's up, everybody? Good morning. I need to start getting notes on this story too in preparation for the trial. All right, so give me a little bit. Let me just go. I'm just gonna go wash my face real quick and make myself a little bit of caffeine. This is supposed to be starting soon, so we'll see. All right, so hang in there. Um, Maybe I should put a little text thing too, real quick. Text. Let's see. Starting soon. Okay. Make it bigger. Starting soon. Okay. Be right back. Morning. Get comfy. Get cozy. right, guys. Do it start? Okay. All of a sudden, face of the earth never takes this again. Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's gone forever. Somehow it's all disappeared now. It's just in front of me. What the heck? In the heck? Oh, please wait, sir. Oh. Gangsta. Okay. We're here and we're here and we're all right, right. What's up? Let me get my face on here now. Oh my, there we go. I got sound. Okay, good. I can't stand this Bluetooth thing is so unreliable. To have a Bluetooth headphone, I think I might directly connect it. Years and years and years and years, you think they have like the Bluetooth technology to like you know state of the art. Maybe it's just Windows. Maybe it's just this device though. I don't know because Bluetooth should be for the most part pretty consistent. Oh, amazing. You fix that. Deactivate. Reactivate. Okay, that's better. I feel like it's so small. I feel like it's so up. Let's see. Okay. We're waiting now anyway. Okay. So let's see. They're supposed to be doing this preliminary hearing today. Let me follow some of these accounts. Oh, I'm following them apparently. um, maybe I need to change my settings to get notifications. It was supposed. They believe they said it was going to be like at 11. I figure what we can do while we wait. I just want to check on the tweets first. While we wait, this I can start maybe playing some videos, pulling up some notes and stuff. Yeah, it hasn't started yet. There's a lot of people trying to join the thing. Check this one too. All right. The docket said this was about 30 minutes ago. They're leading groups of potential jurors into a room. No family that I see. Click layout. Hello. Okay, but where though? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me try to figure it out. Thanks. Okay. Okay. Thanks. I don't have that layout option. Let me see. Oh, it's doing that too. I don't know why. I don't know how to get it to work. Um, Prime Sisters. Mm. Let's try backing out again. That's so weird. So that works like that, and then I'm gonna do webinar. I don't know. Anybody know? Let me see in the chat. They're saying my mic is muted. No, there's literally they're saying that there's supposed to be video feed. No cameras. That mute is to unmute myself. I don't know why I can't hear them. That's so weird. Hold on, let me check. Over here too. Ah, that's so weird. I don't know what the hell to do. Let's see. Show. By the way, it's only audio. Why can't I hear? I don't want to unmute this because this says for the mic. You're muted and can't unmute yourself. That's what it says there.
Through when? Yes. Juror 52.
Is that it? Oh, there we go.
I have some guests.
I guess we want to get audio. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. No, I can't. I'm not gonna. It won't even let me unmute. I'm not gonna unmute myself, but it won't let me unmute myself. But I guess this is it. I don't know. You guys were able to hear that? So maybe I just need to
the week of April 20.
bump up the volume.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's loud.
So it'd be like April 24. And juror 53. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have a major customer meeting coming up 30th. I'm doing a meeting for that first.
I'll have to bump it up a little bit. So this is jury, but today's supposed to be preliminary too.
Off the top of my head, but it is on.
Okay. When you say on the 30th, do you mean this month or next month? Of March.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought it was.
That would be a Thursday. You'd still be able to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it was in preparation for.
Or is this jury selection?
So that the meeting tomorrow is in preparation for the 30th meeting.
Okay.
We do an action level meeting prior to that so that the chairs are prepared a week out.
And you would still be able to do that because I think that we're not going to start evidence at the earliest until April 3. So you would be able to do the meeting tomorrow as well as the meeting on the 30th.
Jury selection.
Would that?
Oh no. Well, it says here. It depends. I'm seeing a lot of different things.
That is happening. It's the last week of April that I would be that Friday.
Okay.
There may have been another date, but I can't think of that right.
All right. Juror 54, did you have any issues? No. All right. Juror 55.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Two businesses, one a larger landscape company here in Flower Springs, and the other is a plant nursery with a location here in the main location, Glenwood Springs. I'm typically in Glenwood Springs 2 days a week up there to monitor that business also. Obviously, spring is a pretty busy time.
All right. All right. Let me start here. First row. First person would be juror 28. Did you have any issues, sir? No? All right. Juror 29.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
It just depends on the length of the whole trial. We have a 40th anniversary trip paid for starting July 3rd through the 17th. So
No, we'll be done long before then.
good, 'cause that would be relationship limiting, I think.
Ma'am?
So I guess this is
Right.
just jury selection. I don't know why I was under the impression it was
30.
Trips out of town, the end of March, so the 31st to the 3rd April, end of April, I believe between 7th to a 2nd or 3rd, it's a Tuesday. And then 27th through June.
Okay.
Now I'm one of two for. I think they're starting up that actually went out to bid right now that somebody else would.
Well, fuck, I'm not gonna be here for no jury selection.
Okay. Juror number 31.
I'm a full-time student at Doherty.
Of May.
KJ, thanks for the super chat earlier. Says, what says something at the bottom is only audio. Thanks for the
Juror
bits on Twitch,
32.
Betty.
Do you have any issues? Yes, sir.
Severe case of gout, and so it's very difficult.
Everybody trying to get out of this shit, though.
Doing it because I haven't been able to walk for almost 6 months.
Good, perfect. You could sit and do the trial,
What I'm gonna do, but
right?
I can't go for me to sit for a very long period of time.
Oh, come on now,
I'm
Pimpin'.
older, but I have to most of the time be right in.
Don't worry, we'll make accommodations. We'll make accommodations for you.
To get over this.
Okay. Juror 33, did you have any issues? Yes, sir.
Gout, that's perfect.
Representative, I work.
No, we could use you. Perfect. That's
Majority
great.
of My income is commission based, so being on a jury for 6 to 8 weeks.
And juror 34, did you? No? All right. And let's start again, going back over here to the
That's the other thing
second
that's kind
row
of funny
on the
about
end
jury
there,
selection.
Juror 42, did you have any issues, ma'am?
I remember when I did jury.
Work part-time.
Everybody's trying to get out of this shit, bro. Nobody wants, like, most people are trying to get out. So we'll hang out for a little bit.
Well,
We'll listen for a little bit because
that's going to take you a
I
while
don't
to
know
get
why
down
in
to
my
Texas,
head,
right?
maybe I was still sleeping. I don't know why I thought preliminary hearing.
Oh.
Which that doesn't make sense. I guess
Okay.
that would have already happened.
How often do you have to do that?
I typically do it every 3 months. We're questioning day to day.
Okay. And is she on her own or is she in assisted? Okay. And tell me a little bit about the part-time work that you do.
Work as an admin.
Okay. And juror 43, did you have any issues, ma'am?
Just one, my son graduates from UCS on Friday, May 12th.
Stop.
I can tell you, along with juror 29's issues about relationship issues, we are not having trial on May 12th because I have a graduation that I have to be at.
May
So
12th.
you would be able to make that. So in light of that, would that help? Right. Juror 44. All right. 45. 46.
I'm actually recovering from a business that did open back in 2021. I have been unemployed for about 3 weeks. I did put an application and I did get a job that I'm supposed to start.
I've got a hard time understanding.
Yeah, slow down, speak
Oh,
up,
shit.
and slow down.
Oh, shit.
Let's try again.
So I am recovering from a business that I did open back in 2021.
Thanks, KJ.
I have been unemployed for about 3 weeks. I did get a job at Amazon. I am supposed to start working on the 25th. And my main concern would be, because I'm pretty much living paycheck to paycheck, how I would pay my rent and utilities.
I think we had Amazon here back in 2018. Okay. The case that I had that was 18 weeks, I truly, I understand. I truly understand the impact that it has. Well, one of the things that I found out was that many employers continue to pay their employees if they are on jury service, and I can get you a letter that says that you're here. So what I want you to do when we take a break at over the noon hour is contact Amazon and ask them whether or not they do that. I don't know whether they do or whether they don't. My experience in the last case that I had was that some large employers, and it surprised me what employers did it, but it was like Target, USAA, Walmart. There were a number of others that actually continued to pay their employees so long as they were on jury service. So what I want you to do over the noon hour when we take our break is contact Amazon and see if you can find out an answer to that question, okay? All right. Juror 47.
I am in the middle of divorce court. I have a status conference upcoming Wednesday where our judge is setting the final. So that might impact this.
Okay.
Amazing.
We might be able to help with that because we're all judicial officers. We understand what's going on. So, but I also can't promise anything. So, but I will keep that in mind. Juror 48.
Yes, sir. I'm the sole caregiver to my wife. On bed rest with a fractured back and wrist. Diagnosed with osteoporosis. Always a risk of fall if I'm not around.
All right. And is there anyone else that helps you do that? And then this is where I sort of start to lose it a little bit because I can't see quite that far back. But I believe we are in the next row back. This end, there you go. You would be juror 56. All right. In juror 57? Yes, sir.
I'm the sole administrator for a school district. As we come into April and to our compliance.
You fix the title for Twitch.
And what district is that?
11, we've got about 100 teachers, middle and.
Okay. Juror 58.
Got a medical issue. I've had my spine fused twice and fractured. It's just difficult to sit for a real extended period of time with regular breaks. And if I could stand without being a distraction.
I'm glad that you brought it up because I have this come up. It's not uncommon. It's not every.
Yeah, we need to start doing that now. Let the juror stand.
But it's actually pretty common. You might have noticed that the chairs and the benches that you're sitting in weren't made by Lazy Boy. If you need to stand and stretch or something like that in order to be comfortable, go ahead and do that. Okay. So we will be taking regular breaks. In case you're wondering, we generally take one for about 15 minutes or so, somewhere between 10:15, 10:30. And then we will take a lunch break about noonish, something like that. If you are a juror and you're sitting, if you are selected to serve as a juror, you end up in an upgraded seat from where you are sitting now. And it's a little bit more comfortable. You would still be able to stand, stretch, do any of those kinds of things. Would that help? Okay. Juror 59.
I'm usually in the 1 to 2 percent.
When does he get out of school?
It's out at 3:05.
And what happens if you're not there to pick him up?
Usually I can find somebody to pick him up.
Right, I get it.
It's gonna be an everyday thing though.
And how old is he? So, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. Okay. All right, thank you. Juror number 60.
I'm currently an attorney in private practice.
Oh, attorney.
So if I'm not in the office billing, then there's no income coming in. Additionally, on April 24th, more importantly, I'm going to be working
Mr. Allen as a deputy district attorney.
Oh. Mr. Allen?
On Friday.
Okay, all right. I'm going to excuse you now.
Do I go back down to the jury
No.
assembly room?
Nope, you're good to go. We will just excuse you now.
What's that, district attorney?
All right, juror 61 and juror 62. No issues. All right. And then next row back on this far end, juror 63. Yes, ma'am.
I am a state, a 1-year-old, and also I work from home in between. And my one responsibility that I have for my job this year is a retreat that I'm helping.
Yeah.
What juror number was that, Your Honor?
That was 63.
Thank you.
Okay. And juror 64.
Sir, I'm the only caretaker for my wife of 81 years old. Hard of hearing, severe asthmatic. She does not drive. I do all of her doctor's appointments and
Man, where's jury selection, bruh? I don't know, man. So I fucked up today. Let me tell you guys. Let me just switch it for a second. I fucked up today. So let me just show you what I did earlier. One, I don't know why I got it in my head that it was a preliminary hearing. I guess that probably already happened. But two, because of this damn Bluetooth, I'm gonna blame it on Bluetooth. Though it's me though. This damn Bluetooth thing. When I turn on the Bluetooth, look at all these audio devices and shit right here, right? When I turn on the Bluetooth, it's no longer wired. I have my wired connection here. This is the wired connection that's not connected. So if I'm not plugged into the wired connection, I have to manually select here headphones WH1000X M5. I gotta select that in order to hear, and for order for you guys to hear as well, so you can hear what I'm hearing. I gotta do that.
Also run an air.
That's right. So I messed up this morning. Not that I guess we didn't miss anything, and it's a good thing that this maybe happened now. Better now than the trial, right? Better now than the opening statement, and we're here scrambling and shit. So maybe it is a good thing it came on anyway.
Juror 69, no issues. And then going into the far back on this end, juror number 70.
What
No
I was
issues.
thinking too.
Juror 71. Oh, juror 7.
What I was thinking,
I would be willing to forego that. They're canceled.
Okay, all right. All right.
And if you gave me a note, I'd probably get my.
who canceling? You
I
don't
can,
cancel.
and I can do that. For anybody who is here that is missing work or something like that, I can give you a letter that will explain that you're here and not on a beach in Cabo or something like that, so that you can have that for your employer or anything else like that. So
The judge is funny.
all right. Or an airline or whatever. So yes, thank you. Juror 71.
Imagine needing like a doctor's note when you're doing jury duty. Like I remember when I did it, they give this letter. It's like this shit, whatever. Nobody can fuck with you when you got that letter, but not really, not supposed to. Hey Mel, wanted to let you know if you have Xfinity. I don't mess with no Xfinity. You know that already. Don't F with that ish at all. So what I was thinking to you guys, because I remember Allison, I don't know if she's in the chat. She was saying, oh, if we could do a recap or something. Mo has this documentation with a lot of links and court documents. And one of the things she has highlighted, and that always kind of stands out to me, that can provide probably a lot of information, is like the probable cause affidavit. It's like 30 something pages long though. I'm definitely not doing it now, but I could do a video where I read over it and we can go over all the details. It would be good to do this before the trial actually starts, which we have time. So we got 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But I'd maybe like to get this done this week if possible. It's going to take a while to read this, but 32 pages, probable cause affidavit, timestamps, dates, all kinds of information on here. Even have some pictures. And so I think it would be good to do this before we start the trial in 2 weeks. Make a video, pre-recorded video. I can make a pre-recorded video, but then I'll premiere it and we can be in the live chat and stuff. I think we should do that. So we can get the likely blood stains on Gannon's mattress. Wow. Letecia is the stepmother that killed her stepchild. Letecia. So I was thinking we could do that. That's a possibility. So we can all get caught up on the story. Yeah, just Jeff. That's true. I think the probable cause is a good thing with a lot of details. And then, I don't know. I probably will do a live stream too. I think I had mentioned of doing a live stream the weekend right before the trial. So like April 1st or April 2nd. Could do like a recap thing. Kind of like we did with Johnny Depp. With Johnny Depp, we did like 2 live streams and we just went over a lot of the details. Even though, you know, when you do the trial, a lot of people are still asking what we covered. But at least if we cover at least if the main people, the regular people that are here, we can do it together. And hopefully not complicate shit. I like as simple as possible. Boom, boom, boom. But it looks like that probable cause affidavit has a lot of information. We can do that. I could even pre-record it and then just use it for a live stream too. Because it's probably going to take me a couple of sessions of recording. All right, let's listen to what they're saying.
That if you were selected to serve as jurors in this, is there anything, if you were selected to serve as jurors in this case, is there anything that would prevent you or cause you any difficulty in serving with a juror that you know? If so, please raise your hand.
Thank you, Amy. Amy says she killed him in Colorado, dumped his body in Florida, arrested in South Carolina. I like that.
Let's see.
I'm going to copy that.
I'm going to go through a list of reasons that may disqualify you. One of the reasons was already given by juror number 60 if you're working for the DA's office or will be working for the DA's office. But I need to go through some of those other reasons as well. Please raise your hand if any of you are related to the defendant or any of the attorneys. No response. Please raise your hand if you have a relationship of guardian and ward, employer and employee, landlord and tenant, debtor or creditor, or principal and agent to, or are you a member of the household of or partner in business with or surety on bond or obligation for the defendant? That is a really long lawyer question asking for certain legal relationships that you may have with the defendant. Does anybody think they fit in that category? Please raise your hand. No response.
It is worth the read, Angie? Okay, good.
Are you now or have you ever been a party in a civil lawsuit involving the defendant or have complained against or been accused by her in a criminal prosecution? Anyone think they're in that category? No response. Please raise your hand if you are a witness to any matter related to the crime or its prosecution. Anyone think they're a witness to this case? Response. Please raise your hand if you have a personal or financial interest in the outcome of this case.
Thanks,
Anyone
Gypsy.
think they fit in that category?
I'm excited too to get back to doing a trial.
Do any of you have any feelings or a bias for or against the defendant or the prosecution? Please raise your hand. All right, looks like we have a couple. I'm going to go through it the same process that I did before. We had juror number 1. You raised your hand. Yes, sir.
As far as, you're asking if I have any preconceived notions of the case?
It is, do you have the question was, do you have any feelings or a bias for or against the defendant or the prosecution?
Oh, just everything that I've seen, news media coverage, everything like that. Yeah, I pretty much have a good opinion.
There you go. He's out.
And we'll get to that. That'll be a little bit of a separate kind of question, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But would you be able to set that bias aside and decide this case based only on the evidence that you're going to hear in this courtroom?
I could try.
I could try.
Okay. And I understand that's
not good enough for me.
That's
Fuck
a tough
that.
question, and it's a tough issue.
The
And
attorney,
all I'm
you gotta
asking
go.
for is your best and most honest answer, because one of the things that is true in every case is that nothing that the attorneys say at any point in time is evidence. Nothing that the media says is evidence. The only evidence comes from this witness stand, or it's an exhibit or something like that. So you'll see somebody come in, you'll see them raise their hand, they swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They sit down, they are questioned by one side, they're cross-examined by the other side. And then if you're selected as a juror, the jurors actually in the state of Colorado have an opportunity to submit questions as well. Whether or not there's a process for that, and if you're selected as a juror, I'll explain what that is. But there's a process to submit questions. Now, none of that happens with the lawyers. The lawyers never get up and take an oath to tell the truth. They never sit in that witness stand and tell you anything. They are here as paid advocates. They're here to try and persuade you to a particular position in the case. The media is not a witness either. They don't come in. They're just reporting back. They may report parts of it. They may not report parts of it. So the question is, and it may be that people have read things about this, heard things, seen things about this case, but the question is going to be, ultimately, can you decide the case on the facts and the instructions that I give you? You can try. Okay. Anyone else in here? Juror 17?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
As this morning, as I stated on my juror form, I would have trouble child abuse for a very specific reason.
Okay. Can you find me
Letecia Stauch. Maybe you can watch a video.
Give me her questionnaire. Anyone else in this group?
Fixing the title on Facebook.
Right, in the back, on this side. And we'll start in the front. Juror 27 on the end here.
Raise my hand, but I would be willing to sit outside my.
Okay. Okay. And it sounds like you had some issues, you saw some things, may have formed some opinions. Nothing wrong with that. The question is always whether or not, because it may be that you have read something and then you hear the evidence and you go, well, that's not what was reported. Or you say, well, I don't see it quite that way. So the question always is not whether or not you've read something or seen something, but whether or not you can put that aside and decide the case based on the evidence in this courtroom. And it sounds like the answer is you think you can.
Yes.
Okay. Then we're going to go to juror 23. Yes, ma'am.
I've gone through a similar situation. I have a granddaughter that's in prison for what she did. And it was child abuse and death, resulting in death. So I'm not sure if.
Okay.
That's a good question. How many are they picking? I wonder if it's online. Let me see if they have any information. How many jurors? Jury selection.
And then on the end, juror 21, yes, ma'am.
Opinions is given. And I'm not sure that I can hold this aside.
Okay. And let me tell you, we do a lot of different kinds of trials in the building. And the issue is not, I don't think there's anybody that has ever taken a position in any trial that what happened to a child was a good thing or that it should happen or something like that. The question is whether or not prosecution has proven beyond a reasonable doubt what it's required to prove. And can you decide the case based on that evidence? Do you think that you can do that?
Oh.
In the next. Eight? Yes, ma'am.
I've seen lots of news media coverage. I guess I already have a preconception.
Right. Anyone else in this group over here? Juror, I think 40? Yes, ma'am.
I followed this case.
Okay. And anyone else in that second row? Last row? Anyone in the last row? No? Right, over here. Hands. I have a couple here and there. Juror 30? Yes, ma'am.
I also have
Okay. And that's a separate issue too. We'll talk about that a little bit differently. So when I get to that, remember to raise your hand, okay? Okay. Anyone? And juror 42? Yes, ma'am. And also in the second row, let's see, Mr. I will get there. Juror 46. Yes, sir. That's you. That is you. Yes, sir.
I went through a similar experience. I lost a family member due and I do not have any like that type of stuff anymore.
Oh, did it stop because I put the headphones down? Was it muted the entire time? Or was it not?
Okay. All right. Next row back. Anyone in the next row back? And the next row behind that, juror 63. Yes,
we're going to be in for another long haul, man. 6 weeks.
Just that child abuse in this case. So I've studied. And so I.
A what therapist? A play therapist, okay.
Kids, and so I'm always an advocate for kids while knowing the mental evidence-based background that I'm learning.
Okay. All right, thanks. Cool. Because the other day we were on Twitch, and anytime I put this down, it muted the audio on the thing.
Sorry, I must have missed you. Juror number 20, I'm sorry, 33? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff on like. Probably would be a little.
Okay. And again, the issue is not even going to go into the accuracy of social media. But even with respect to media itself, they can only report what they've heard. And I can tell you that This case has never been tried before. There are people that have never testified before. There are statements that have never been released before. So the issue is, can you set aside what you've seen and heard and decide the case based on the evidence that you hear in the courtroom?
You guys got to add? It doesn't normally do a random ad or whatever?
All right, and let me get back to last
monetization.
Okay.
Automatically place mid-roll ads during your
That
stream.
would be
By
juror
default,
68. Yes, ma'am. That's you with the hand. Yes.
I was.
Okay. No, that's, no, I appreciate you sharing that. And last row, juror 71. Yes, sir.
Boy.
Okay.
so there's like this option, but it's like random. You may or may not put an ad or whatever. I'm surprised they did it though, because it depends. Usually the live streams, you really don't
Anyone else in the back row?
make much. Usually,
Have a hand here.
you know, unless
Juror
we're doing like the trial. Or
48. Yes, sir.
What was that?
Military court martial. Dealt with see rape, fiction, and service. To that point, I really didn't have any thoughts on child abuse. Pardon my heart.
It's really hard to hear him. It's kind of cutting out. And this is basically, once the trial starts, this is what we're going to get. I think we're going to have video, but it's basically going to be using the WebEx. They're not allowing, like, I guess the media to bring their cameras in, but they'll have like this WebEx type of thing. Oh,
Okay.
amazing.
So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break. A couple of things. The restrooms are down the hallway. I know that there's a lot of you. And there's only one restroom on this floor. Well, one on each side. Just as you go past the glass doors, and then just before you get to the glass doors on the other side. A couple of things before you go. We need to have you back in your seats. We honor the third grade seating chart here. So remember where you are, because when you come back, you have to be in the same place. If you switch places, it causes all kinds of consternation for us. So remember the third grade seating chart. Again, don't discuss this case among yourselves. Excuse me, don't discuss this case among yourselves. Don't discuss it with anyone else.
Interesting. I'm learning all kinds of words I've never heard before.
And if I can have all of you leave the courtroom now and be back at 10:35, and remember where your seats are, and we'll see you then. All rise for the jury, please.
All right, old boy. Social media main page. Neighbor surveillance video. Ooh, Letecia attacked deputy, tried to escape mid-transit. Oh, hell no. Bitch, you crazy. Hell no. See if I can pull it up.
Your Honor.
My coats.
Yes. Yeah, you can leave anything that you want to leave here in the courtroom, you can leave here in the courtroom. So if you want to leave your coats, backpacks, whatever, you can leave it here.
Thank you.
Thank you for the nice one.
Okay, so they're taking a little break. Let me take a look at this. I don't know how long we'll be here. We're just chilling right now. All right, let me.
Yeah.
Let me switch that for now, so we don't hear them. Okay, so we're gonna chill for a little bit. just hang out with you guys. Jury selection. I'm definitely not going to do this all week. Jury selection just popped in today, but I think it is good to be on anyway, so people know, people on the channel know, like, hey, we're going to be covering this. April 3rd is when they believe will be opening statements. I will do a video basically just reading the, it's going to take a while to record, but basically reading this probable cause affidavit to get all of us kind of caught up on what's going on. And we'll probably do a recap stream, sure, maybe. We should, like a recap stream the weekend before the trial starts. So this just looking at this, I thought it was kind of interesting. Let me see if the video actually plays. Or not. It could be because these pop up. Oh shoot, I forgot about Maddie's waffles. All right, still good. So this is not playing, I guess. Let me try over here. Let's see. Okay. Shields are up. All right, it just doesn't play. Okay, so we'll just read it. Letecia Stauch leaves Kansas jail. Arrival to face charges in El Paso County imminent. The woman accused of killing her stepson has left a Kansas jail and is on her way back to Colorado to face first-degree murder charges. According to court records, Letecia was released early Thursday morning from Saline County Sheriff's Office in Salina, Kansas, west of Kansas City. Salina is about 6.5 hours east of Colorado Springs. It is unclear if Stauch will return to El Paso County. But she is there. She was arrested and charged Monday in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and left that jail shortly afternoon Tuesday. On Wednesday afternoon, an unidentified person placed blue balloons in memory of Gannon at the entrance to the jailhouse, or to the jail on Las Vegas Street. The person quickly drove away when approached by KRDO. However, the balloons caught the attention of Madison Guthrie, 20, a criminal justice student at the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. This one doesn't really talk about the attack, though. Did I click the wrong link? Attacked. Let's do this. Can't find the attack thing. Okay. Hmm. No. Did she give an interview? Oh, she did a police interview too. Did she do a police interview? Is that out?
You are.
I am Letecia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
Oh, hell no.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared.
How dare y'all?
From the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation I was told I wasn't compliant. And could I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yeah,
yes,
please.
so
Talk
I
more.
asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney?
Ooh.
Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time, correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives, and so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives, they're supposed to twist, the one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things, so I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child.
And I wonder what's the story behind that. I'm sure we'll get more into it. So she's kind of like trying to like throw the mother under the bus. I don't know what the mother's story is, but.
And his mother, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother.
And then what's the deal with the dad too, the father?
Mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know, but I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun, and my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there?
They weren't even in her car, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here.
Oh no.
We came here and got clothes.
We said dad had a mistress. That true? Mom had issues but got married and had a kid. The level of storytelling and fast talking, right? Thanks, Winnie. I've been a subscriber since 2021. Thank you for covering my nephew. His ending was bad.
knows, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was putting the handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your chat. Doing great. Want to make sure that we're still good on recording, still can hear you okay. Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while my mic will give out and I want to make sure that's not going to happen here.
Why did it show her face? What kind of camera angle is that? Back to her head. Is that how she wanted
Not
it?
necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online
Give me one
to
second.
rumors about you with the source.
Oh yes, wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this, but is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me.
Oh yeah, bring her
If
along.
she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to ask her. Sound okay so far?
Yes.
We're
I
gonna
need
have to get this
Harley.
whole story. We're gonna have to get this whole story. What hike?
I need Harley.
That's the alibi?
Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Garden of the Gods. Okay. I guess when.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted.
What about the friend's house?
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
That's right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with legal stuff.
What are you about to say?
Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope. Am I on camera now?
You are still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher, and they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status, and
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know
Oh, good.
it definitely is. And here's the thing that kind of
Sofa
saddens me.
sleuths.
It's like, if you're going to talk
No, I
about
got a
someone
sofa
like that and
behind
have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened.
Oh,
and
God.
then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon.
Such a weird thing too. Like, the angle is the back of her head. I mean, I'm assuming that's how she wanted it. That's the only thing I could think. Can't look at the camera. And then she's saying, "Oh, you guys better apologize. All y'all better apologize. I want an apology. And when he comes back, this is what he's gonna say." And blah blah blah. What? He's got some nerve. All right, let me see if they've come back. We'll listen for a little bit more, probably. I think they're on break. Okay. Lady got some nerve.
Right. Okay. All right. Court will recall 20 CR 1358, People versus Letecia Stauch. While we were on break, I looked at some of the explanations and some of the comments that had been made. So I'm going to start excusing some people now. And again, it will be by number.
Okay.
Sorry, the people in the back probably couldn't hear me very well. So I'm going to start excusing people now. And again, it will be by number, but we're going to confirm who you are before you go. If I excuse you, you can go ahead and leave the building. You don't need to go back to the jury assembly room or anything like that. You can go on about your business. Here's the really hard part. For the people that remain here, the courtroom is going to look really a little bit bizarre because there's going to be a whole bunch of seats in between you. We are not filling those seats in. The seat that you are in, stay in that seat. So when we take another break, you need to come back to that seat because this is how we have you numbered. So at this point in time, court is going to excuse juror number 1, juror number 3, juror number 4, juror number 5, juror number 6, juror number 10, juror 12, juror 13, 14, 16, 18, is the gentleman down in the, down in the hole there, 19, and I'll have you guys go ahead and leave now. And you do have to take your stuff with you this time.
So they're kicking some people out. All right. Excusing them. And I guess this like jury thing is like an all day thing, huh? Like, so, because they said it's going to be 2 weeks. Donna Fox just posted something about Buster opening up about Smith's death. Yeah, I saw a tweet. From Brian Enton when I first woke up this morning, and he denounced or denied having any involvement in Stephen Smith's death.
Then,
I thought maybe I could do a short video on it.
22, first row.
It's the right thing to do
That was your
too.
hand, you're right. 22, 23, 25, and
he
27.
was telling me he wants people to stop harassing him.
37, be in the sort of teal t-shirt with glasses. Gentlemen, yes, that you'd be 37, 38, 40, and 41. Juror 50 with the mask on in the back. Juror 51 sitting next to him, and juror 55 on the end. You all can leave as well.
Step out and leave.
Now, while you have to stay in your same seat, you can spread out a little bit more if you would like to. You get a little bit more room. Okay, and then because this group is bigger, I'm going to excuse from the back first. So it would be juror 71, the gentleman there. Yep, you're 71. Okay. 72.
Oh, a lot of them getting excused. I see. So again, the plan coming up, and I'll remind you guys. So today I jumped on by accident, really, but I'm glad we're here anyway. So you guys know this is gonna be the next trial that we cover. The opening statements should be April 3rd, 2 weeks from now. I plan to do a little recap in between. Well, I want to work on this 32-page document. Oh my God. I think that, because the thing is, it'll be good to put in the work now. So that anytime throughout the trial, anybody's asking or blah, 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 or whatever, we can always reference them to like, okay, well, there's this video we did. You can go watch that. So we got that, and we'll do a recap stream right before the trial starts, I guess. And let's see. And this thing too, which is kind of interesting. Letecia, maybe that's why they're trying to, with Kohlberger, they're trying to, provide him his vegan diet, canned vegetables. I think that's what they're doing. They got to be just some canned vegetables, just pouring the shit out. Here you go. Here's your vegan diet. Letecia Stauch sues over alleged kosher food violations in jail. Oh no, say it ain't so. Letecia claiming her rights have been violated in a civil lawsuit. She's accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon. The child had ties to Loris before moving to Colorado Springs. According to her affiliate, Stauch claims her First Amendment rights were violated when she experienced problems with her pre-approved kosher food. She says her meals were not wrapped appropriately. Oh, Lord. And that non-kosher item were placed in her diet. Oh. I'm assuming that didn't really go anywhere. Freedom of religion, kosher violations, medical neglect. Ooh. General damages, restitution damages, or reliance loss damages monetary. Injunctive relief, monetary relief, policy change for well path neglecting inmates. Oh, hell no. Let's see, attached defendants, Trinity Food Services, job title, inmate food distribution. Okay. Claim 1. Can I make this bigger? Make it bigger. Amazing. Okay. From July 2021 to February 2022, my First Amendment right was violated by means of my kosher diet. Inmates sign an agreement stating they will adhere to the policy and follow their kosher diet guidelines to avoid interruption of meals and services. During this time, I expressed several concerns of the meals not being wrapped appropriately, items that were not kosher approved being placed in our diets, and the violation of sanitation by putting kosher on open trays. So they got to wrap it up a certain way and they can't mix it. Kosher meat comes from animals that have split hooves, like cows, sheep, and goat, and chew their cud. When these types of animals eat partially digested food, cud returns from the stomach for them to chew again. Pigs, for example, have split hooves, but they don't chew their cud. So pork isn't kosher. What does that mean, poop? What's cud? That's so true, right? Casey, what about Gannon's rights? Isn't it crazy that these psycho people allegedly commit these horrible crimes, and then they're talking about, oh yeah, how the way their food is wrapped and their violation, their amendment rights and violations. I asked the deputies to alert their superiors that the policy and custom by El Paso County Jail was not prohibited per their religious affiliation. Below our list of inmate kites that followed once staff refused to contact Kinley, whatever, food services and let administration know of their violations. 2021, August 8th, kite to Trinity Foods explaining the contamination and kosher items on open trays. How do I do this? Okay. September 4th, reported improper kosher and contaminations through the El Paso County Jail grievance process and was told to contact Trinity instead of the jail. November 19th, set kite explaining that staff was using pen/marker to write K on the non-kosher items that did not already have the standard approval. These were non-kosher items and violated the signed agreement. On 11/22, a response from the jail said to the kite again. I don't know. Kosher food.
My
rights
to the health of that
being
disabled
violated.
person. Anyone think they're in that category? No response. Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. Juror 36, go ahead.
Oh, cod is mushy food they reach you. Oh, okay.
How old is she?
Thank you, Chrissy.
And she gets off of school or out of school when? Okay. Anyone else? Right.
Babysitter interview. Ooh, that's some interesting stuff.
Let's go ahead and hand out
What the babysitter had to say.
now.
We'll check this out in a little bit.
What's going to happen is the staff is going to be handing you out a witness list. I'm going to give you a few minutes to go over it. It's long. The question that I'm going to have for you at the end is, do any of you know any of the potential witnesses in this case? And once you get done with that list, the attorneys may have a couple others that are not on that list, and I'll ask them if there's anybody else that they're going to add to that. But the question at the end is, do any of you know any of the potential witnesses? And if you see, let's see, I think everybody's got them now. There are notepads and a pen on the bar in front of you. If you need to write something down to check, please don't write on the list. But if you need to write something down, you can do that. So just let us know. And so that the attorneys know that it's coming, we're going to do a 2-minute mini opening statement in just a minute.
Oh, really? Tell me why. Hey, Sandra, thank you so much for the PayPal. Hey, Mel. Oh, this is for my bank being frozen. Okay, I'll DM you. Thank you for the PayPal. Appreciate it. Did they say a mini opening statement? What the? Maybe it's just like for the not actual attorneys, but just like I don't know, something for the jurors. Legend. What's up, legendary? We need a chase, man. We need a chase. We need some crazy stuff to happen.
While we're taking this break, did council need to see the strikes that I had?
Well, they got to be there, right?
Did you get them as I was going through them?
I can have a copy of the witnesses.
Mr. Allen, are you guys good over here with the strikes that I went through up to speed?
Yeah, the ones that you've already announced.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Well, I want to see. Maybe I can play this in the background, or I don't know if they're gonna come back. I'll wait. Because I want to hear what they're gonna say as far as what they were referring to with the opening, the mini opening. Lorette, good morning. How you doing? It's been cloudy here, man. The last, I don't know, week or so. I've been wanting to take Maddie to the pool, but it's cloudy and it's actually cold, kind of. Let me see. Damn, is it really 60? Nah. Wow, it's 60. 65 outside. What the hell is going on? Ooh, thank you, Tammy. So that trial
Like
could be
everybody,
6 weeks.
Does anyone need more time with the witness list? Please raise your hand.
Oh, I should
okay.
say this.
All right. That's fine. I'm not trying to hurry. I'm just trying to gauge where we are.
Holy crap. Oh, so this is where everything's at.
And when you're done, just pass it to the center or pass it up to one of these, either Mr. Combs or Mr. Sproul.
It's not signed.
All right. And prosecution, are there any other witnesses which the prosecution may call that were not on that list?
Not that we're aware of at this time, Judge.
Jack, we got one more back there. And from the defense?
Possibly Dr. Rhonda Niederhauser and possibly an investigator.
Okay. Does anyone think they know any of the potential witnesses in this case? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, it looks like we have a few. Let me get back to my list here. Your number 11? Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I know Investigator Colvin on a professional level.
Okay. And where does Investigator Colvin fit in?
She's one of our DAO investigators, Judge.
Okay. And how do you know Investigator Colvin?
Because I'm a DHS welfare fraud investigator, so I create my own fraud case and give it to her. She then verifies and gets the arrest warrants out from the DA's office on my cases.
I've done some of those. So you work with her on a daily basis?
Not daily, Your Honor, just when I have a case that breaches the statutes of felony fraud.
Okay. And well, let me ask, do you have any knowledge from your contacts with her about this case?
No, Your Honor.
So the concern is that you do know her on a professional basis, work with her regularly, those kinds of things. Do I have that right? Okay. Do you think that you would be able to set aside, well, let me ask, is she a coworker or is she a friend or both?
I would say more a coworker. I don't know on a personal level at all. I just know that she does take a lot of my cases that I give to the district attorney, verifies, looks at my stuff, figures out what statutes the charges will go under, because I don't have that option. I just say this is what they did.
Okay.
And then we discuss those, but we've never discussed anything more than professional case.
Okay. Would you be able to judge her testimony? I don't know whether she's going to testify or not. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
Oftentimes what each side puts on their witness list is somebody that they may call. That doesn't mean that they're going to call them. And it may be somebody that has some peripheral, I mean, for all I know, she may have put in some information on a computer screen one time and that's it, but they need that witness to establish some foundation. It's also possible that there was some investigation by that person. That person will be testifying about a critical piece of evidence in this case.
Yeah,
so it could be from one extreme to the other and anywhere in between. The question that I have for you is, would you be able to judge the investigator's testimony just as you would judge any other testimony that was given by someone?
Absolutely.
Would you find her to be more credible just because you know her? Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. And juror number 7? Yes, sir.
Ian Marks.
Okay. And how do you know that person? Oh, you were both in the military together? Okay. Do you know this person since they left the military? Oh, he's still in the military. Probably not the same guy, is it?
Can we get a copy of that list back so we can follow along?
Sure. I need one too.
Thank you.
And what was the name again? Ian Marks. Okay. And prosecution, how does Mr. Marks fit into the case?
Judge, he's more the way you described the very peripheral type witnesses. The chances of actually call him is very, very low.
Is this person actually in the military though?
I don't know that off the top of my head. We can look into that though.
Okay.
So apparently she was.
Let me ask you then.
Break out of jail.
Check into
Letecia.
that while you're while we're talking about it. Juror number 7, let me ask you, if Mr. Marks were to testify, would you be able to judge his testimony just as you would anyone else's testimony? Would you give it any greater or lesser credibility because of your, I'm not even exactly sure what your contact is with him. Okay. Okay. So would you be able to just judge his testimony just as you would anyone else's? Okay. Anyone else in this group? No. All right. Back here, anybody know any of the witnesses? Juror 36. I didn't hear that last part all the way. She what? Okay. Okay. And how well do you know her, or do you just know her in a professional capacity, or?
Okay, let's listen to
Okay. Oh, got it. Okay. And how long have you known her?
let's listen to make sure as long as you guys can still hear me, right? Okay, good. Let's play. I just want to listen to the short video. This is the babysitter, apparently. Let's see. Babysitter. Well, she wrote a whole bunch of shit to these people too. And I don't feel the need we need to go over every single detail before the trial starts, because you got to think this is going to be a long trial. It's going to be, I guess, 6 weeks. Who knows? Maybe longer, maybe shorter. We're going to have those lunch breaks. There's going to be plenty of time to go over stuff. I do want to go over the probable cause affidavit, I think, and maybe a timeline type of thing. But we don't need to cover it, nor am I interested in covering every single piece, because we're going to have so much time during the trial, you know what I mean? I just would like to kind of familiarize myself and everybody else. Definitely do the affidavit video, and then probably a short video maybe, or something like that. Or just a live, whatever. Let's see. Stauch babysitter says she believes stepmother is innocent. Oh, shit.
It's all mind-blowing.
Stephanie Kane just moved to Oklahoma mid-January, but last had contact with Letecia Stauch, Gannon's stepmother, shortly after his disappearance. For a year, she would babysit overnight for the Stauch family whenever they went away, and became friends with who she calls Tisha.
I think she's innocent. She's not the type of person that will do something like this.
What is she like?
I mean, she never even spanked those kids. She wasn't the one to get on to them. She always let Albert do that.
Kane is trying to help clear her friend's name after this interview touched off serious backlash online.
She didn't sound like she was hiding anything, that's just the way she is.
People from across the country following the case, some criticizing her social media posts.
I would be losing my mind too. I think she's overwhelmed.
Kane says Letecia may not have her phone, and she thinks she deactivated her Facebook last night. You just think that there's no way that she would have done anything to him?
I'm not saying, I don't know,
No,
I don't know, but
come on. You were just sticking up for her. You said no.
I'm saying that I don't think, my personal opinion, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think she'd do something like that.
You never know, man. With people, I guess, you just never know. You think everything, a good, loving person, blah, blah, blah. And kill her.
Because she is a friend.
So?
Kane can't tell us what she said to investigators, but says she's had several calls with them. As for the latest in the search with the sheriff's office here, we just got out of an interview with them a few minutes ago. They say they've had about 382 tips now, and here's a soundbite from what they said when they spoke with us.
Well, we did have some searches happen in some very specific areas based on the tips and the leads that have been called into the tip line. And so, again, that is going to continue the tip.
Okay, and so I also, there's another interview. I found this one here from the family. So let me just start making a little notes for myself on this other thing here. Okay. So I'll play this. Just kind of curious to hear what they have to say. So this is Gannon's parents, Landon Hyatt, Albert Stauch, and sister Lena Stauch.
I describe my G-Man, my Gannon. Gannon's my hero. I love him so much. He's not only my hero, he has multiple people that call him his hero as well. He has so many family members that just look up to him at such a small age. He's full of life. He's happy. He's energetic. He loves sports. He loves Sonic. He loves going outside, playing with his friends, his sister, his neighbor, especially Braden. This neighborhood basically gives you a true example of who my son is. Everybody coming together, all the smiles that people have. This is why I have hope, because I feel it. This is Gannon truly speaking to our community. Gannon he loves blue, he loves Sonic, he's into coding, he loves riding his bicycle with his sister, and I know that he's missing that right now. He holds his job as being Big Bubba very important, and for him not to be able to talk to his sisters has to be hurting him. This week has been awful. It's been more than a roller coaster ride. It's been more than emotional mess. I don't even have answers for my feelings other than I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I will never hear his voice, that I'll never hear him run and say, "Mommy," that I'll never hear those corny jokes that he always tells every single day. He has to tell me a joke. He looks forward to telling me something silly. And I'm afraid that I may never see that again or hear it. I don't want to believe that, because that means that I'm giving up hope, and I'm not giving up hope because my son is full of hope. So I'm urging anyone that has any leads, credible leads, if you're too afraid because you know something, a kid just doesn't disappear and no one sees him. It's not how this works. So if you have anything that's credible, if you're afraid, don't worry about it. Imagine my son, how afraid he is. Imagine how afraid Gannon is. So please call, please write. If you need to have someone else to do it for you, please do. Because my son deserves to be here. He deserves to be here. Please call the El Paso Sheriff's County and let them know. And I thank you guys, the community, for what you've done, because this is Gannon. This is who he is.
So that's Gannon's biological mother, Landon.
And I thank you guys so much.
When Gannon was born, he weighed only 1 pound and 6 ounces, and even today he's still our miracle child. He still is. And
wow, 1 pound 6 ounces. Whew.
When Gannon was born, he weighed only 1 pound and 6
wow.
ounces, and even today he's still our miracle child. He still is. And
that's so little.
He's such a happy child, and he just brings life to every party. His smile, even today, is keeping us going. His infectious smile brings me joy every time I think about it. The past 8 days have been, as Landon said, a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes we jump in for joy because we get an information that we might think is a break in the case, and then the next minute we get we see something or get information that just breaks our heart into a million pieces again. But through all this, just know that your thoughts and your prayers and your messages, keep them coming, because even if we don't respond, we are receiving them, and that has given us strength to get through this. And I do want to say I'm so proud of Lena, my little baby girl here, and of Landon, my children's mother. They've been so strong through this, stronger than I would have ever thought that I could have ever been, and I'm getting strength from them as well. As I said, please keep sending your thoughts and your prayers, because we are receiving them. And if you have any information at all that could help, please reach out to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office with only credible information, but any information that you think may help. Thank you so much. Your turn, baby.
I love you, Baba.
Aw. Okay. KJ, thank you for the super chat earlier. Says Mel, says afternoon on the 3rd, but it's mountain time, so it's 2 hours behind east. It would be 9:51 there now, where it's 11:51 east in the east. Yeah, we need to figure out on the 3rd what time Eastern. We have 2 weeks, so but what time Eastern they're going to be doing the trials daily. Dad said, thank you for the bits on Twitch. Amazing. Miss Mojo Rising, thank you for the 18-month membership. Holy moly. Oh, thanks for coming to this trial. Justice for Gannon. Yeah, this is going to be the next ride. The next trial.
So it's their burden to prove all of that. The question is, do you think, okay, all right, anyone else in that group? Okay, and anyone over here in the back, and this is what's going to throw me off here. I think you're juror number 67. Yes, ma'am. That's all right. It's okay.
Can we watch, Miss Mojo Rising says in the chat, can we watch the videos or pictures of the family walking
What interview are you talking about?
on the trails? I haven't seen that. I'll take a look and see.
Okay.
Is that the surveillance thing people are talking about?
And just so that
caught on
I
camera.
understand exactly what it is you're talking about. She's being interviewed by a news person, and she's
Gannon Stauch was just 11 years old when he disappeared. His own.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
And then the truck returned.
All right, so we'll take a look at that. This is on
Anyone else in this group?
Court TV.
No. All right.
This is interesting. Maybe I should save some of these links too from when we start the trial.
I want to go through some instructions, and especially an instruction that you will receive later that is especially important for you to consider now. You may hear the attorneys comment on the law at various points of the case. However, you are to be guided by what I say about the law. In this case, every person charged with a crime is presumed innocent. This presumption of innocence remains with the defendant throughout the trial and should be given effect by you unless, after considering all of the evidence, you are then convinced that the defendant is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The burden of proof is upon the prosecution to prove to the satisfaction of the jury beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of all of the elements necessary to constitute the crime charged. Reasonable doubt means a doubt based upon reason and common sense, which arises from a fair and rational consideration of all of the evidence or lack of evidence in the case. It is a doubt which is not a vague, speculative, or imaginary doubt, but such a doubt as would cause reasonable people to hesitate to act in matters of importance to themselves. If you find from the evidence that each and every element has been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, you will find the defendant guilty. If you find from the evidence that the prosecution has failed to prove any one or more of the elements beyond a reasonable doubt, you will find the defendant not guilty. A few minutes ago, you heard me tell you that the defendant was presumed to be innocent. That means that if I were to give you a verdict form right now and ask you to fill it out, the law would require that you find the defendant not guilty. That's because you've not heard any evidence in this case, and the defendant is presumed innocent. And that doesn't change because the attorneys got up and told you what they think the evidence is going to be, because nothing that they say is evidence. In addition, someone in a few moments, the attorneys will have an opportunity to ask you some questions. but somebody else may ask you whether or not you think the defendant has done something wrong, or else you wouldn't be here. However, that is an improper question under our system of justice. We don't just randomly select people from the street to suddenly appear in a courtroom as a defendant in a case. Obviously, there is a process in place which resulted in the filing of the charges against this defendant. However, the charges against the defendant are not evidence either. The charges against the defendant are just accusations. The fact that the defendant has been accused is not evidence that the defendant committed any crime. As such, the defendant is presumed to be innocent, and until the district attorney presents sufficient evidence to overcome the presumption beyond a reasonable doubt, you must continue to presume the defendant is innocent. Stated differently, unless and until the prosecution presents sufficient evidence to overcome the presumption of innocence beyond a reasonable doubt, Ms. Stauch's guilt has not been proven. That's what the presumption of innocence means. You may also find it helpful to think of this process as sort of similar to a recipe in a cookbook. That's because the charges, once you see them, have certain things in them that the prosecution must prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, for instance, suppose that you wanted a Denver omelet, and you took some eggs and you scrambled them up and you added some ham and you added some mushrooms. In that case, you might have a really nice ham and Swiss omelet, but you wouldn't have a Denver omelet. If the prosecution charges the defendant with a Denver omelet, they have to prove a Denver omelet. There's no substitutions on the menu that are allowed. The prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt what it has charged and not something else. I also want to talk about the defendant's right to remain silent for a moment. Someone may ask you whether or not you would need to hear from both sides in order to be fair. Everybody wants to be fair, right? And you can only do that if you hear from both sides, right? However, that is an improper question because that's not the process that is followed in a court of law. This isn't the Jerry Springer or Maury Povich show. The government brought these charges against an individual. Because of that, the government has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt every element of the charges that it brought. The defendant has no obligation to disprove the government's case. Stated differently, the defendant does not have to present any evidence or any testimony. In fact, I suspect they're not, but defense counsel could choose to take a nap at defense counsel table, and it would not change the prosecution's obligation to prove every element of the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. In addition, every defendant has a constitutional right not to testify.
Okay.
The decision not to testify cannot be used as an inference of guilt and cannot prejudice the defendant. That's because it is not evidence, does not prove anything, and must not be considered for any purpose. Now, sometimes you'll hear when you're talking with friends or family or acquaintances.
I am curious what the attorneys are going to ask, questioning. There's a really interesting Court TV video to play that I kind of want to watch on this case, and they also go over the surveillance footage. I don't know if we should wait till the attorneys ask the questions first. I don't know if it's going to be any interesting or not, or we should just jump to this Court TV stuff.
Fear is in the population. It rates higher than a fear of death, and most people find it scarier than meeting up with a rattlesnake. Public speaking. So, of course, what we do is we bring you all down and ask you questions in front of a lot of other people, asking you for responses to those questions. All of you have been subject to questioning by myself. In a few minutes, you'll be subject to questioning from the attorneys. And I want you to think on that experience for a moment. Were you nervous? If you had a choice, would you have chosen not to be questioned? And none of you were questioned in front of a jury, and none of you were either a witness or been accused of a crime in this case. The bottom line is that it is possible that the defendant won't testify. It's possible that the defendant will testify. But regardless of who testifies and who doesn't, the question is always the same. And that is, based on the evidence presented, whatever that evidence is, has the prosecution proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of the crime charged? Is there anyone who thinks that they cannot follow that process? Please raise your hand. Is there anyone who thinks that they would have to hear from the defendant before deciding the issues in this case? Please raise your hand. No response. All right, and at this point in time, I'm going to excuse Juror 17 in the front, Juror 8 in the back, and Juror 67. You're all, I'm going to excuse you at this point in time, and you can go ahead and go on about your business. All right, we've asked you all questions about the length of the trial and publicity and those sorts of things. I do want to ask some questions about the plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. Give me just a moment. Is there anyone who has, and I may have already excused this juror, is there anyone who has an issue simply with the plea of not guilty by reason of insanity? All right, and let me start back here first. Juror 52, you raised your hand. Can you tell me what that is?
Yes, I'm probably going to be a witness in the assault trial. My best friend was, and her husband was both assault guardian son. He's really a nephew, but they had guardianship of him.
Oh, okay. All right. That made a little more sense to me. Go ahead.
And his plea is insane. Know how much I hear about. And he's friends with nearly murder.
How long ago did that happen? Okay. And that case, is it here in El Paso County? All right. And has it been scheduled for trial yet?
It has off and on, and has evaluated. One point being, other point,
It sounds as though then that case is probably being prosecuted by Mr. Allen's office. It's a criminal case. Do I have that right? Okay. Has anyone, I guess on either side, spoken with you about the process of how evaluations occur and what it means to be found insane or not insane? Okay. So you're looking at the facts as you know them to be in that case and wondering how can this possibly be? Do I have it sort of right? Okay. And I suspect I've done sanity cases before, and that's actually, frankly, a fairly common issue is how did all of this occur? And you would, if you are selected to serve as a juror in this case, you would receive instructions about what it is that you're supposed to look at and what the law is governing a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. And I don't want to read them at this point in time. It's hard to put them in context until you actually have the evidence to see what they are. But the question would be whether or not you think that you would be able to decide the issues in this case and make a determination regarding whether or not the prosecution was sane at the time that the offense was committed in this case. Okay. All right. And then juror number 53, you had raised your hand.
My ex-wife.
That's right. Yeah.
And I have a bias against Healthfield in general because she used her knowledge to manipulate.
When you say she, do you mean your ex-wife or some? Okay, go ahead.
And said that I was the problem with the marriage. And there was problems in the marriage. I take some responsibility. I just struggle with that.
Okay. And how, tell me a little bit about the kind of work that your ex-wife did. I remember that she worked in the mental health field. What was it that she did?
She deals with, she's at LPC, licensed professional counselor, and she works with trauma.
Does she work in a hospital or is it a private practice?
Does private practice now. She did work at Cedar.
How long ago was that?
That was May.
Okay. And when did you separate?
Separated last time it was August, I think. The divorce is final.
So August of last year? Okay. And when she came home, was she telling you about, in general, the patients that she had seen, the issues that she was dealing with, those kinds of things?
General, yes.
I'm just trying to get an understanding of what knowledge you may have about sanity or not guilty by reason of insanity from your wife.
Just that based on her experience that there are broken people, and I fully agree with that, but she said that there are also people that.
Okay. All right. Did I get everybody over here? How about over here? Any hands over here? Nope. All right. All right. Council approach, please.
All right. I made some cassava. I did some cassava. I have some collagen too. I put some collagen powder in there. And I also put some Fruity Pebbles protein powder in there too. It's gonna be amazing. Have you never tried Fruity Pebbles protein powder? It's so good. Delicious. So I wonder how long this is gonna go. I mean, I know it's 2 weeks or whatever, I guess, right? But as far as like today, and they're 2 hours behind. I can't see myself staying all day. I just want to hang out for a little bit. Maybe we'll go a little bit more.
Okay. So give me just a moment, and I think we're going to take an early lunch break.
Oh.
So give me just a moment.
Maybe that's it. Oh, we got to listen to the Court TV thing too. We'll check that out. Court TV.
All right. At this point in time, I'm going to excuse juror 32 here in the front row. The gentleman with gout, you don't need to come back. I will also excuse juror 52 and 53 in the back. I will give them a chance to leave, and then I'll talk with you for just a little bit longer here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our lunch break a little bit early. That'll do a couple of things. First of all, the lawyers have a lot of work to do because they're going to be looking through questionnaires. And when we come back, here's what you can expect. The attorneys will each have 45 minutes to question you regarding topics that they want to cover. And then when we come back, the prosecution will start. Prosecution has the burden of proof, so they almost always go first. And they will start asking questions of everyone. They're going to ask questions of everyone in the courtroom as opposed to just the people in the box. If you are in this room, you should anticipate that you will be on this jury in this case. It may not be today. As I said, we hope to start evidence on April 3rd, but you should anticipate that you're going to be on the jury in this case. So if there are issues that you need to raise or want to raise, you need to tell us those because I can't do anything about it after we have selected the jury. So the attorneys will start their questioning. They'll have 45 minutes per side. At the end of that questioning, what will occur is that I'll send you out in the hallway again for a break. And actually, I'll send you out in the hallway at the end of the prosecution's questioning so that you're not sitting there for an inordinately lengthy period of time. Then we'll have you come back. Defense will have an opportunity to ask you some questions. Then what will occur is the attorneys will come up here and we will have we will have some discussion about potential challenges for cause. And then I will excuse those jurors. Then we will have some jurors left. I do not anticipate that we will have all of the jurors that we need out of today. So that's why we have set aside 2 weeks to select the jury in this case. While the attorneys and I are having a conversation up here, you get to listen to, we don't play music, you get that instead. But it's wonderful white noise, so I don't know what hertz or frequency it at, but should put you at ease. So in any event, we will then have some jurors who are qualified to be on this jury. We will have those jurors come back on April 3. We'll give you a card about that. Here's what a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, when we take our break, you're free to leave the courthouse. There is a bistro that's in the basement.
A bistro?
I think it's open today. Yeah, okay. There's a bistro that's in the basement. Most of the eating joints are north on Tejon. A few of them are south on Tejon. But come back and be back in place at, say, 1:15. We'll open the doors at 1:15 to allow everybody back in so that we can start at that point in time. I cannot start until everybody is here. So I need everybody to be here on time, and then we will be able to go. You've heard a little bit about what this case is about. You've had a lot of questions from me. You're going to have even more from the attorneys. Do not go online or check anything about this case. Okay, don't check out the attorneys. Don't check out myself, any of the staff that are involved. Don't do any investigation about any aspect of this case. Once this case is done, or once your obligation is done here and you're released, you can do all of that you want, but you cannot do it in the meantime. So if you run into a story that mentions, oh, this jury is going, just swipe right or left or whatever it is that you do. I don't know. If you are on a page and you're looking at a newspaper and you see something about it, go to the next page. I'm not saying that you can't be on the internet. I'm not saying that you can't watch TV or listen to the radio or anything like that. But if you start to hear something or see something that has to do with this case, ignore it. Change the station, move the page, do something else, flip the newspaper over, whatever it is that you need to do. So with that, if we can have everyone back at 1:15, stacked up in the hallway at 1:15. We've got lots of benches out there, and there are a lot fewer of you now than there were this morning. So there should be plenty of room out there, but be there at 1:15. Also, please, 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 while you're in the hallway, I know that it's uncomfortable, and I know that this whole process is uncomfortable. But please stay quiet out there. There's still other business that's going on in the courthouse and in this hallway. We don't want to interrupt or disrupt what's going on elsewhere. So with that, we'll see you all back at 1:15. All rise for the jury, please.
Okay. I wonder if we missed the mini statement opening. I don't know if they're going to question them when they come back.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So the things that we'll do is we'll watch this court TV thing. Take this off. There's a little quick timeline too, which, you know, we'll go all over this stuff another time. And also the affidavit has a lot of information. It's really, I mean, I'm just briefly browsed it, but like they literally in the beginning talk about the family structure. The father, Eugene Al Stauch, stepmother Letecia Stauch, the daughter Harley, the son Gannon, and then Lena. We just saw her on TV, on video. And then they also say it's like a blended family. So Harley, blood related to Letecia, but not Al, the father. Gannon, blood related to the father, but not Letecia. Lena, blood related to Al, but not Letecia. And there's a couple of vehicles that are going to be talked about. The red Nissan Frontier, the black Volkswagen, the white Volkswagen, the silver Nissan Altima. Damn, all these vehicles. Even a Kia, a white Kia Rio rental car. A whole bunch of information on this thing. So it's going to be a lot. Okay, and so this little mini timeline, we'll just briefly go over and then we'll watch the court TV video. January 27, 2020, 6:55 p.m., El Paso County Sheriff's Office dispatch receives call for a runaway child on the 6600 block of Mandan Drive in the Lorson Ranch neighborhood. 7:32 p.m., Gannon entered into state and national databases as active runaway. Last seen between 3 and 4 p.m. on the 27th. Supposedly. Nothing found on the initial search on January 28th. 12:29 p.m. Case turned over to EPSO investigators. Detectives conduct interviews, collect surveillance, follow up on additional leads. Wednesday, January 29, 2020, investigation continues. On the 30th, case upgraded from runaway to endangered missing child. There's a bunch of stuff here. January 31st, 2020, Letecia speaks exclusively to News 11 reporter Spencer Wilson. February 3rd, neighbor comes forward with home surveillance, which we're going to check that out now. Home surveillance video showing a driver and passenger getting into a truck the day Gannon went missing, and only one person returning hours later. Let's see. Search for Gannon. Okay. Search suspended. Okay, March 2nd, 2020, Letecia arrested in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. March 4th, Letecia reportedly attacked a deputy. Crazy. And was held in a Kansas jail, according to a source. March 5th, 2020, Letecia arrives in Colorado Springs for a video advisement hearing. March 11th, Letecia appears in El Paso County courtroom and is charged for Gannon's death. March 20th, authorities announced they believe they found Gannon's remains in Florida and filed new charges against Letecia. Arrest papers in murder case leaked. We'll cover that, all that stuff at another time. March 5th, paralegal for Brighton City Attorney's Office charged with misdemeanor for allegedly leaking. Letecia Stauch arrest affidavit. Oh, no. So they found the person that leaked it. Oh. Say it ain't so. May 19, attorneys for Letecia filed a motion to allow bond out of jail. June 4th, 11 News obtained second arrest affidavit revealed Letecia allegedly concocted a plot to escape jail, which that's the thing we just looked over, which I'll probably make a separate short video for that. We'll be kind of doing things throughout the trial. Even beforehand, I'll probably start making some videos. Included measuring herself to see whether she'd fit through the window and obtaining a broom to break the glass. New charges filed against Letecia. Damn. January 19, 2021, second of two mental health evaluations found Letecia competent to stand trial. February 26, 2021, judge agrees to let Letecia defend herself. Lord almighty, imagine that. She's not representing herself though, right? Well, she did. March 5th, 2021, Letecia represents herself in court for the first time. Oh! April 8th, 2021, Letecia's jail library privileges revoked after she reportedly refused to use her allotted times. May 3rd, court announces through release of documents that Letecia will no longer be representing herself. We'll get new public defenders. Okay. September 23rd, judge rules that there is sufficient evidence against Letecia for the case to move to trial. February 11th, Letecia changes plea from not guilty to not guilty by reason of insanity. And I guess that's why it came up now with the judge, I guess, or with the jury. Case delayed so Letecia can be evaluated at the state hospital in Pueblo, July 2022. After months of being told more time for evaluation was needed, the judge warns the defense that they had 4 more weeks to get it done, or the state would be required to explain the delay. August 9th, judge holds hearing to discuss results of competency tests. The results were not read publicly, but 11 News crew in the courtroom heard the word sane used in reference to the evaluation. Defense asked for a second evaluation and requests its own experts. The judge grants a second evaluation. Letecia arrives to the hearing an hour late, prompting the judge to rule that all force reasonably necessary can be used to make sure she leaves the jail on time on court days, which I think the docket posted that. She don't got a choice. Send her ass. She don't got a choice. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read the whole thing, but, well, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Here's the order for the sheriff's office to use all force necessary to secure the presence of Letecia Stauch each day of her trial. At times in the past, the defendant has chosen not to appear for court proceedings. Defendant must appear each day of trial. If defendant appears and chooses not to be present for trial, she will be held in a holding cell in the courthouse, and the court will have her brought to the courtroom at various times during the day to see if she has changed her mind regarding attending her trial. And if she stays in that thing, are they gonna let her hear it? I guess are they gonna put an audio feed in there or something she has to hear? Or what's gonna happen? Or are they just gonna do it without her? This will be the process each day defendant chooses not to be present for her trial. However, defendant must be transported to the courthouse every day on which the trial is held. And so they have been permitted to use all force reasonably necessary to secure the presence of the defendant in the El Paso County combined courts for each day of her trial. Damn. You ain't got a choice. Get your ass in there. Okay, and so the trial is set for March 2023. Okay. And April 3rd, opening statements. All right, let's do the court CV thing, and then we call it. Where's it at? Here.
Gannon Stauch was just 11 years old when he disappeared. His own stepmother now charged with his murder. Our sister station, KOAA, has more for us.
For a while now, we've only had bits and pieces.
We can see a picture if we only have half of the puzzle.
But now, a picture becoming more clear, no matter how devastating the details.
There's a significant pool of blood. There's blood splatter. There's blood on her car.
Attorney Stephen Longo weighed in on the unsealed arrest affidavit for Letecia Stauch.
It really shuts the door on any potential credibility she might try to have.
And I think that's like this really, I have to pause a little bit. But I think they're referring to this thing. There's a whole bunch of info on this crap.
It all started January 27th when Gannon stayed home from school with his stepmom, Letecia. Surveillance shows them leaving the home around 10. They get back after 2. Letecia's phone was left at home the whole day and not unlocked until around 30 minutes after she returned. Then, right before 5, a text sent to her daughter asking for cleaning supplies, detectives say are commonly used to clean blood. Then, just before 7, Letecia calls 911, saying Gannon never came home from a friend's house. Documents show that would be the first of many scenarios she shared with detectives in the days to come. Investigators believe Gannon was killed in his bedroom between 2 and 5:30 that day.
I think
between 2 and 5:30. So, right when she's asking for supplies, and then she reports Gannon missing after allegedly killing him and getting the cleaning supplies. Which daughter was it that Letecia? Was it the older daughter, Harley? And I wonder, is she going to be a witness in the trial?
Of many scenarios she shared with detectives in the days to come. Investigators believe Gannon was killed in his bedroom between 2 and 5:30 that day.
I think the only potential plea agreement would be a matter of efficiency for her to plead to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Longo says that's the best option for the defense, which also has to account for a defendant who showed strange behavior after her stepson's disappearance, like washing her car before a police interview and bringing notes to it, along with giving alibis and excuses for certain...
She brought notes to the police interview? Was she taking notes or she brought notes? Was it like a reminder of what I need to lie on? Like, remember to lie about or remember this?
Interview after her stepson's disappearance, like washing her car before a police interview and bringing notes to it, along with giving alibis and excuses for certain evidence that hadn't been revealed to the public yet.
Oh, no!
Detectives also believe Letecia initially tried to dispose
That's
of...
why, like, they always say, too, like, you know, police don't release certain bits of information purposely for investigative purposes. She over here telling them shit that's not even released publicly.
Gannon's body, January 28th, near Perry Park. They found evidence that had been there, but was later moved.
That arrest affidavit, so full of details, and none of
Yeah,
these
it's
details
loaded.
obviously help Letecia Stauch as you go through them page by page by
Loaded.
page. Let's bring everyone back in. And Seema, I know today you had an opportunity to speak with one of the neighbors who gave you that surveillance video that he shared with investigators during this case. Tell us a little bit about the video first.
Okay, so this neighbor has provided us a wealth of information, but also confusion when you compare it to the affidavit. The video shows that red truck, and you have Letecia Stauch, and how the neighbor described a drugged out appearing Gannon getting into the red. And you have Letecia Stauch, and how the neighbor described a drugged out appearing Gannon getting into the red truck. And this is about, I think he said actually 10:13 a.m. And then the truck returns. This is what he said at 2:19 p.m. Letecia gets out and Gannon does not get out. So this is why it's very confusing. And then I spoke to him, Vinny, actually, before we went on the air to confirm all of this. Roderick Drayton, the neighbor, and there's one house in between his house and the Stauches. He is saying to me that he watched this video 30 times, and he watched it with the FBI, and he is certain that he never saw Gannon get out of the truck. Now, I want you to keep in mind that at some point he had turned over his password to the surveillance video, all of that video to the FBI, and he didn't really look after 2:19. So I think that is what we're waiting for, is to find out, did the FBI find anything on that video after 2:19 p.m. that implicates Letecia Stauch even further?
All right, let me show this real quick too.
Video that could be at the heart of a child murder case, showing Gannon leaving with his stepmom Letecia, but according to neighbor Roderick Drayton, Gannon is nowhere to be seen when Letecia returns.
I watched the video. I could slow it down, speed it up. I know he didn't come home with her, so I knew
There's a guy.
something. She'd done something with him or to him.
Drayton started reviewing footage after a knock on the door from the FBI.
Just kept looking through video, hundreds of clips, until I found it.
From the start, as search teams scoured acres of land looking for Gannon, Letecia has maintained her innocence.
A little emotional.
Cassie Brown knows the family.
It's been really tough.
Her son was friends with Gannon. The two bonded over video games.
He really did love Sonic as much as everybody says.
Like many in the Lorson Ranch subdivision, they're showing their respects. Blue is the theme.
He's really a light. He's so happy and so loving.
Balloons and ribbons are hard to miss.
After hearing what happened today, it's like, it's just heartbreaking.
As a community prays for a family experiencing tremendous sorrow. And as you can see here behind me, the blue lights on the outer wall here of the Lorson Ranch subdivision as this community continues to remember that little boy named Gannon. We are
Yeah, Ted, this was again, a little bit of an inconsistency. At the time when this video was first released, everyone thought, okay, this is it. So she drives somewhere and he is gone. But now they're saying the time of death is after he returns, yet he's not really seen on that video.
Yeah, so obviously
That's true. Yeah, that is a conflicting.
authorities know more than we do, right? So she must have left, came back without him. Where was he at that point, and when did he come back in? Because they believe he was killed in the house, and the physical evidence seems to support that. A lot of questions, and you wonder if, in a twist, when we get to trial, if the defense is going to try to use this video to their advantage.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a listen to a little bit of what Roderick Drayton told Seema earlier today.
So I started looking and looking. I stayed up half the night just looking and looking and looking from frame to frame to frame to frame until I saw Sunday. The kids were outside playing. She picked them up. I could hear her tell Gannon, you get on this side, Lamb, you get on the other side. And they drove away, and I watched them. They came back. He got out of the car. He took off running to the house. And so that Monday I saw him. I saw her walk to the truck, back up. And then I saw Gannon come out the house, and I was like, man, he doesn't look right. He doesn't look like he did Sunday, because Sunday he was running and playing. And he looked like he was struggling. Like I said, like he was drugged or something, because he just could barely move. He got in the truck. They left. So I just kind of went through the videos to see what time they came back. So when they came back, saw she get out of the truck. I could hear her lock the door when she got out of the truck, and I could hear the garage door opening. So she got out, she locked the truck, and went in the house.
No, Chrissy. Just having a glance over at the chat box. Chrissy said, same people saying Murdoch was innocent are back to saying this chick is innocent. Okay. Well, it seems, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there is people out there like, or who knows, right? Like, oh no, there's no way she did it. But this one seems to have a lot more evidence. And this is just, I haven't even read this document yet, but just glancing at it looks like they have a lot more than Murdoch.
Julie Grant, this part of the mystery becomes very confusing, and I think Ted might be on something here. I mean, if there is any sort of level of inconsistency, that's something that the defense always pounces upon. And sometimes it helps, and sometimes it doesn't. But it just doesn't. The story's not quite making sense right now.
Yes, Vinny, you and Ted are exactly right on that. The defense is going to jump all over this. However, I would caution anybody from jumping to a conclusion just yet, because one thing is, do we know if that time on the video is exact? Because if this is a home video camera.
And that's the thing. Just a real quick, like I said, I'm going to do a video on this, but since we're kind of talking about it now a little bit, and this whole time, the time of the video and the time they suspect death. And it looks like over here, they're trying to use like her social media, which reminds me a little bit of the Murdoch thing, where they kind of like would talk about how active they were, or when their phone was off, when their phone was on, how often they were on their phone. And so at this point here, just a snippet of this, affidavit, probable cause. I have reviewed forensic search records of Letecia's phone and found she is an active user of social media, including but not limited to Facebook and Instagram. A more detailed review of Letecia's iPhone screen time log between January 25th at 800 hours, 8 a.m., and January 29, 1100 hours, 11 a.m., revealed that Letecia spent approximately 38,607 seconds on Facebook and Facebook Messenger alone, which equates to 10.7 hours of cumulative time over the few days. Letecia's phone was locked at or about 9:56 a.m. on January 27, and unlocked at 2:45 p.m. on the same day. The timing of the unlocking of the device is significant compared to her departure and arrival from the residence, and should be noted by the court. Particularly, Letecia did not open her phone for approximately 30 minutes after she arrived back to the residence. And this is the whole thing. On January 27, there was a message sent from Gannon's phone to Harley's phone that reads, "Letecia left phone at home. If you need her, text me." That's interesting. So what time was this? This was at 10:37 a.m. (11:22 and 13). So 11:22 in the morning and 1:22 p.m. So 1:22, Letecia was again captured on video surveillance, making her second purchase. Also, there's other videos at the same Petco on North Nevada Avenue. Mr. Stauch sent a text message to Gannon's cell phone at or about 12:06 that read, "Hey buddy." This message was unanswered until 1:21 p.m. The response was, "Can I play Zelda at least?" Mr. Stauch replied, "Not today." A significant event occurred on Gannon's phone at or about 1:43 p.m., which is prior to arriving back at the Stauch residence. There was an internet search for, "Can my parent find my cell phone if it's off?" So I'm guessing this must be Letecia using Gannon's phone to make these kind of searches to try to corroborate her story of he ran away. I submit that this internet search was likely conducted by Letecia on Gannon's phone and not Gannon himself based upon the content of the search, the way the search terms are phrased, and the presence of a period in between the phone and if. This is very similar to the way Letecia conducted her searches on her phone. Oh, damn. So they looked up the way she types, her patterns, and it matches the way this search was entered on Gannon's phone. So she definitely, if this is her, which I don't have any reason not to believe it's not her, we got to wait for the trial and everything else. She's definitely well thought out.
Camera, do we know that his time was exactly synced up with the time of day in the state's timeline? We really don't. We're not sure. Second of all, the state doesn't have to get boxed in on a timeline, and that can be something tricky for prosecutors. They don't have to nail his death down to an exact second. They know, and they have a mountain of evidence showing this beautiful little boy died on January 27th. That's really all they need to do. We all know the language in when we see affidavits processed all over the country, on or about January 27th. Those are the magic words. So they don't need to prove it down to the hour. I think it was great this neighbor came forward and was so forthcoming, sharing that evidence. I hope that investigators can authenticate the tape and make sure the time is what they believe it to be.
All right, another amazing moment in this interview that Seema did is when Roderick Drayton, the neighbor's wife, I guess, is listening to the conversation.
Oh, yeah, she was great.
And she jumps in, right? So we hear her, but I don't think we're going to see her. Let's take a listen to her describing Letecia Stauch.
So when I came home from work and I looked over there, she was smiling. She was actually acting like she was at a barbecue, because I was like, that's very strange. My son's missing. I'm over here acting like we're having a party, because a lot of people came to the neighborhood to offer to look for Gannon. And she was out there smiling and she was just enjoying the company and was just too relaxed. Not like a parent that was missing their child.
Wow.
Seema, relaxed and in a good mood after the child goes missing?
Almost like Koberger. Remember Koberger? There was some sort of article that said Koberger had like a pep in his step after the murders and shit. He came back and he was kind of a little bit more talkative and stuff. Supposedly when he got quiet when they would talk about the murder case. But
well, this is great. Okay, so Tamika is the MVP, and that's Mr. Drayton's wife. So it's very interesting because this is now the 28th, okay? So the day of the incident, the murder is, and Julie's exactly right, they can change the date if they want, but the bottom line is they're putting it down as January 27th. So if we just go by that timeline, on January 28th, Roderick and Tamika go over to the Stauch's house, like outside, everybody's hanging out. And Roderick, they don't know each other very well, but he says to Letecia, hey, my cameras can capture your home. Do you want me to look through my cameras? And she says no. And then Tamika said how she observed, because I said, what was her demeanor like? And Tamika from the side of the camera said, I need to, tell Seema what I observed. And this is 24 hours after the child is gone.
Ted Rollins, this is the kind of evidence.
So the guy was like, yeah, my cameras can see your house. Do you want me to go look through it? She said no. Remind me of like a Chris Watts when the police, then it was like it was a neighbor. They went to the neighbor's house, but Chris Watts was actually there though, if I remember correctly. And I think it was captured on body cam, I thought. And I think he had stepped away and the neighbor sees Chris on video or something. And he was like shocked. I forgot the exact details of it, but
that you might not think it's, some people look at it and say, well, it's not a murder weapon. Jurors will understand this, and jurors will, I think, latch onto this. The way she is acting and reacting when this child is presumably missing, and it just does not make any sort of sense.
Yeah, we saw it with Lori Vallow when her husband Charles was was shot and killed by her brother. She's out there laughing with the police officers. We saw it with Scott Peterson when he's leaning back in his initial detective interview, trying to be cool, Mr. Cool. Jurors hate it. And they look into there and they say, what would I be doing right now if my son was missing, my stepson? I wouldn't be joking around. I would be freaking out, asking everybody for help. It doesn't look good, and jurors absolutely hold it against them.
Julie, the way you act and react is something, jurors bring their common sense into the courtroom, and the common sense tells you if you're a stepmother and you're legitimately concerned, you're not going to be smiling and laughing the day after an 11-year-old boy is missing, and presumably now, if her story, I don't know what story she's going to go with, but if she's going with, I was just raped yesterday, I don't think she would be smiling either, but she was raped and an 11-year-old boy was abducted at gunpoint, and she's acting like she's going to a backyard barbecue.
Exactly, Vinny. No reason to smile in any of the scenarios that she laid out for police, the many, many different stories that this woman told. Seema, great job getting that information from those folks because it's very telling. It tells us that Letecia Stauch had an inappropriate reaction. And not just one inappropriate reaction. Let's talk about how she fled, too. The child's missing and she goes to another state. That's inappropriate. How about on the 29th, 2 days later, when she was questioned by investigators, the woman needed to read from her notes. If that isn't an inappropriate reaction, I don't know what is.
That
I'll tell you one
crazy,
more.
dude. That she got notes and shit.
Polygraph test. Your child goes missing because he doesn't come home from a friend's fake polygraph. An inappropriate reaction. I don't know what is. And I'll tell you one more. Paying for a fake polygraph test. Your child goes missing because he doesn't come home from a friend's house and you're so concerned, but you got to go pay for the fake polygraph to show that you didn't do it. If I'm the prosecutor, I'm going to hammer home those two
I didn't know that either. Damn.
words. Inappropriate reaction for this jury all day long, Vinny.
All right, we're going to adjourn this group for just a short time. We'll reconvene when we bring in Lori and Chad Daybell tonight. We'll do that in a little bit. Also, coming up straight ahead, folks, it's been just over 2 years since that horrible shooting down in Parkland.
Ooh. Damn, bro, she did it all 2 hours ago. Inside Edition. Lord almighty. Let me see if they posted it on YouTube. Okay, well. Letecia, suspect tried to fake polygraph, drove 1,500 miles to dump stepson's body, cop says. Wow. Just days after Letecia allegedly provided AI or Al with five different stories explaining how his son disappeared, I guess the father. The suspected murderer commissioned a fake polygraph test, writes Detective Jessica Bethel of El Paso County Sheriff's Office. Wow. Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, she stuffed him in a suitcase, drove 1,500 miles cross country, and hid his remains under a Florida bridge. The fake polygraph test never got sent back to Letecia, however, because management at the company blocked its release, according to probable cause affidavit obtained by Inside Edition. Letecia was arrested and charged with the murder of her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon, a few weeks later, and now 3 years later, her murder trial is finally underway. Okay. Al Stauch. Damn, 5 different stories explaining how his son disappeared. Detective Bethel claims that Letecia allegedly spoke about taking a polygraph with 2 individuals in phone communications intercepted by investigators on February 17. The following day, investigators again intercepted a call made by Letecia, this time to a number associated with fakepolygraph.com. Amazing. Letecia allegedly asked about a confirmation number for a test she paid for, then called back a second time when she still had not received her test. During this call, Letecia inquired about an email she received. Detective Bethel writes, the unknown male stated that her report was blocked by management based on the content of the questions and stated that with any illegal activities, they reserved the right to not send the report. Dang. Detective Bethel claims that Letecia then asked, what do you do now? Just delete it and go on about life and keep the money? To that, the unknown male allegedly responded, yes, we do indeed. Damn, he kept it gangster. Yeah, we keeping all that shit. The investigations unit with the EPSO then used the same number Letecia called to speak with an employee of the company who provided law enforcement with questions Letecia allegedly selected for her polygraph along with her answers. Do you intend to answer these questions regarding your stepson? Truthfully, yes. Is your birthday August 4th, 1983? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing harm to your stepson? No. Did your stepson return with you to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. Bro, that is insane. I don't know how she thought this was going to go smooth. Maybe she should have got it from another country or something. How she thought this was going to go smooth, putting in her own questions, her own answers to try to like use it as a proof that she had nothing to do with it. I submit to the court that if Letecia had nothing to hide, she would not have to pay for a fake polygraph test. Facts. Letecia was arrested in South Carolina on March 2nd, just a few days after a judge signed off on the arrest warrant and extradited back to Colorado. Okay. Dang. Ole. I guess that's it for now, man. Thank you guys so much for coming today. I don't know what we'll be doing. I do want to do those little things that I mentioned. I don't know what else we'll do. Gonna go chill for a while. Jury selection. But it should be a pretty interesting trial. Oh, there's an episode 2 of Letecia Stauch, Nancy Grace, Crimes with Nancy Grace, YouTube TV. There's an episode there. It's not currently part of your paid membership. What? All right, guys, man. So hit like on the way out. Love you guys. Take care. We'll see what else pops off today. And yeah, and hopefully if there's a chase or something too, we'll come back. So no worries, man. We'll be coming back with some trial stuff. All right. So peace. Love you guys. Take care.